This video is made for adult collectors because I'm scared of bees. Generations, and I'm including like all of Chug in this, has been around for a while, and surprisingly there haven't been as many Bumblebee new molds as you might think. Only getting like a couple of Legends molds and a handful of deluxe toys. I see some people saying even to this day we haven't gotten a good Generations B, but like, that does exist. Here's two examples of good Bumblebees. We got Classics and Netflix. Sort of. So this one is actually the Classics toy in the movie deco, and this is Goldbug from Buzzworthy Bumblebee's Creatures Collide 4-pack, and both I really like for different reasons, which makes it hard to pick a best, if I'm being honest. Before I get started, I do have a Patreon. It's in the description. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but it's there. There's exclusive content, yada yada yada. You can check it out if you want. Like, it's all well and good going, oh, Classics is obviously the best because there's no parts forming, blah. But like, it's not terrible parts forming. Transformers have parts formed all the way back in G1, and there have been examples of that in loads of other lines, even in the most recent ones. And as long as the part has a place to go in both modes, I don't see it as an issue. I'm looking at you, G1 Starscream. I had to make that thing hold his landing gear because there was nowhere else to put it. But let's start with the old first. Ha! You're old. Classics B came out in 2006, but this one came out in 2011, and damn, I really want that 3-pack Bumblebee. Anyways, this one. It's Kibbly. It's designed to look like a teenager. Oh my god, that's actually hilarious. It's with a hoodie and baggy clothes and large shoes. Apparently this is supposed to replicate what teenagers were wearing in the late 2000s to early 2010s. But like, did teenagers actually dress like this, or was that just the media's portrayal of teenagers? Because I was a teenager then, and I definitely didn't dress like this, nor did any of my friends. So even though I whinge about it, I like the design a lot. The chunky nature of this is something we don't see on Bumblebees very often, and it suits him. Really feels like he's integrated with his alt mode rather than it either vanishing or only having cues of existing. The plastic too feels super solid and nice in the hand. It's thick and chunky and definitely feels a lot nicer than the new one we got, that's for sure. And the coloring, it's mostly consistent because it's an orangey yellow. The paint matching on the painted color versus plastic color is almost perfect, and if you aren't looking for it, you can't really tell the difference. I love that. I also love the head and how he has an actual facial expression. Oh my god. Why do they refuse to do this now? Like, give Twitch a smile or something. Jeez, like something better than that tiny smile she has. Jetpack though, it's weird. Apparently it's supposed to replicate his Action Master accessory, which is cool and all, but like, I think it looks a bit daft. Would have been nicer if he came with like a pistol instead, but ROG has me covered on that. In contrast, the Netmix. What the hell is a Netmix? In contrast, the Netflix mold, there we go, is very different. Trying to stick to that more G1-ish look, it looks weird. Now, I can't speak on proper Netflix B in terms of paint because I don't have that, nor have I experienced it, but the Goldbug's paint mismatched a lot, actually, because of the shades they use. I'm not sure if it was intentional or not, because Goldbug in the cartoon was at least just all one solid color, so it looks weird to me. That and the shoulders are already chipping. Pain, but I don't know, it's pretty satisfying to hold. Legends and smaller scale toys can really be cool to hold in the hand, because if you look at it and go, how the hell did they get this to work? And the weight feels great for something this small, and this has that feeling. I like picking it up. I will say the backpack really likes to move a lot when I pick it up because of the 2 tabs, so it's annoying. And if you don't like parts forming, there are armatures you can buy to fix this, but again, I don't care that much. It's a lot smaller, like a lot smaller than your average deluxe, but he comes with a massive bazooka that Cliff came with, so you're probably paying for this, like the same amount of plastic as a normal deluxe, but looking at these two together, the price seems like a bit too much for me still. Trailbreaker has more of a fun factor to him than Goldbug, to me, to make the price of Trailbreaker worth it more than it is to be. God damn it, the furnace just came on. I was hoping to avoid that. I also just noticed his face is paint chipping. Pain. So both of them have pretty interesting posing quirks. This one you'd think would be like the standard we have today, but it's a bit awkward. And then this one has some stuff that's pretty cool, but also not so cool. So you got the head that's on a ball joint. It rotates at a slight off axis forward. So it only goes about like that far before it starts looking up. but it can look up and down. It doesn't like to tab in on my copy, but whatever. Shoulders are on ball joints, so they can do a full 360. They can go in and out. You got an elbow joint and a bicep swivel. You also have, because of transformation and because these don't lock in, you got a butterfly joint, which is actually really cool. You can get the arms to go even more forward across. You can't really cross his arms because of the way his arms are built, but you can sort of get them there, so that's nice. I always like that. Nothing at the waist. The hips can go forward and back. They can go out only about that far because the hip likes to bump into this piece here that's out of focus. The hip likes to bump into this piece here, so that can be annoying. And then you have a below the knee swivel. I don't like below the knee swivels because then you just get that, and that looks weird. There's no sort of like way they could have cut an upper thigh swivel into here due to the way that they have this. If they remove the seat, then they probably could, but then the alt mode would look a bit weird. And then the feet, if you lift the seat up, the feet can go forward a little bit and back all the way due to transformation. So his upper body is very posable actually. It's just when you get to his lower body that he tends to have some issues with the whole hips and the thigh swivels not being there and the feet being slightly limited, but they aren't sculpted at an angle, but the way that the wheels stick out a little bit, they sit at an angle naturally. So I like how they were able to at least accomplish that, because if they sculpted it at an angle, the front of the car would look weird because there'd be an angle at the front. But in contrast to that, the Netflix Bumblebee mold is very different. This backpack piece keeps rotating. You got the head is on a very expressive ball joint, so it can pretty much do whatever you want, up and down, left and right, paint chip, you know. Shoulders can do a full 360. They can go in and out. They can go all the way up that way, which is nice. You got elbow bend, blah, 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 blah. English is hard. You got an elbow bend, a bicep swivel, and because of transformation, you can break his arm if you want to. He does have a wrist rotation, albeit very tight on my copy. Now you do have a waist rotation as well. However, it does scare me because that's painted down there, so I don't know if that's going to chip anytime soon. Hips can go forward. This hip can go forward straight all the way. This hip cannot because of the blast effect peg that's on his hip. So it hits and then moves the leg to the side if you want it to go out further, which is a bit annoying. They can go back. They can go in and out. You got thigh rotation. You have a 90-degree knee bend and even ankle tilt. Now, the 90-degree knee bend would be cool to get him into a running pose, but because of the size of his feet and how massive they are, it doesn't really work. You can sort of do it, but then he's got to be leaning constantly to one side and it looks weird. It just doesn't look great with those feet. I kind of wish that these were either smaller or there was something to do, because there's parts here where they could have made this hinge up even more if they wanted to, so that you could get him into some sort of like walking or running pose, because he just looks awkward. That and the thigh swivels make the back of the legs bump into each other a lot, so it can be kind of annoying. But yeah, each one has their own. I wouldn't say they're both outstanding at posing. I lost the classics one. Here it is. But each one has their quirks. This one's upper body, excellent. This one all around is pretty all right. This one's lower body fails, and this one has weird feet that make him standing in poses kind of awkward. Now, their transformations are arguably similar, feet the front, arms go inside, blah, blah, blah. But the way they achieve that conversion scheme is different from both. So let's have a look, eh? God, that was extremely Canadian. Okie dokie there, bud. Want to go down to the back of Tim's, rip a fat dart, then watch a Leafs game? Okay there, bud. I'm so sorry. I had to. I'm Canadian, what can I say? I don't like hockey, though. Now let's go through their transformations. Again, starting with the old man. Pretty simple and straightforward, but the arms are a bit weird. To start, you peg the legs together. Somehow, there we go. Turn off servo autofocus. That stuff's annoying. Fold this down. Bring the head up. It's like doing that really easy, right? That's pretty much the entire car done. Wow, simple. It's this part that's weird. So you pull these out, right? And the doors rotate around, but every time I rotate them anywhere to fold the arms in, they don't usually sit. So I leave the arms where they are. I just fold this around and then just sort of bring this around like this. And then bring the door in, and then the arms stay properly. They don't push anything out. So that's how I do it. There you go. Car, and then you have this little weird jetpack thing that sort of just folds up and around. Oh, it's so tight on mine. There we go. There you go. Trailer hitch it up. Boom. Car. Contrast to that, this idiot. Why are you doing the Michael Jackson? This has apparently some resemblance to the Masterpiece Bumblebee, not the new one, the old one. And like it's based on like a canceled Masterpiece cliff jump or something. I don't know. I don't know the full story behind the engineering of where this all came from, but to start, you have to do that. And that upsets a lot of people. It doesn't upset me because like it goes somewhere in robot mode and in alt mode, and you can technically use this as a shield if you want to be really creative about it. There we go. If you want to be really creative about it, you can, but it does upset some people. Fortunately, there are, like I said, 3D printed armatures you can get to sort of make this whole thing fold around and do whatever, but I don't care. To start with, you bring the arms back like that, fold this down, fold this up, bring this down, fold out the stuff at the feet, rotate the waist first before you fold that down. Don't be an idiot like me. Bring this whole thing just sort of around and just peg it all into place. It's also not that hard to do, just like classics. It's just the parts forming that turns a lot of people off. And like, I get it, but at the same time, it doesn't bother me. There you have his little Beetle mode. I'm very surprised it's licensed. But yeah, Beetle. I don't like the Beetle. It's a terrible car. Alt modes are very different. One's a generic old Beetle and one's a Subaru-y, Peugeot-y, Ford-y, I don't know. It looks cool. Again, starting with the classics, and man, this is the car I wanted. A hatchback Subaru Impreza looking thing, but all they had at the time when I bought my car was the sedan, but it was still cheap, so I'll take it. I love the way the alt mode is. The wing, the mirrors, the headlights, the back end, even the tow hitch. It put that useless trailer on. It's all really nice. Even if you want to pretend, the hood opens, albeit backwards, but it opens. I guess you could put like a Lego minifigure next to it. I don't know. It feels super solid too. Giving it a squeeze, nothing pops out or comes apart or feels like it's gonna bend. I love that. But this is where you start to see the color mismatch. Just not in this video because my camera won't pick it up. In person, it's a lot more prominent. The back section's yellow doesn't match the roof or the doors. It's just weird. It's slightly darker. In robot mode, you can't tell because they're separate, but here you can tell because they're next to each other. But again, my camera's not picking it up. Also, pin wheels. That's always a plus. Wait, hold on. The new War for Cybertron B. Those are pinned wheels. Ooh. We're getting pinned wheels, at least on one figure. We're getting pinned wheels. That looks awesome. Now Netflix. Still looks cool. It's a Beetle, we're familiar with that. It is licensed, so you have the VW logo on the wheels, and not gonna lie, if it was pinned, that wouldn't work, and I kinda like the VW logos there, so I'm okay with the clip wheels. The gold doesn't 100% match up, but it's not bad. It's a small little car, but that's really what the Beetle is. Makes me wanna get the MP ones. Yeah, both MP ones. The weapon storage on this is a lot nicer to me because it's the cliff mold. It does the skiing thing, which I've always thought was a great and excellent use of storing the bazooka. Although I don't know why this gun is cast in yellow and painted in black and the other one's just cast in black. It's weird. Also, the front bumper on mine doesn't sit properly. It's always sticking out a bit and it's bugged me. Now I got both of these for the same price, essentially. Granted, one's from a 4-pack. Breaking it down, it comes to average deluxe price, and I paid average deluxe price for both. And if I had to spend the money on one B, I'm picking classics. It feels more solid, you get more toys. Sure, it's not as posable, and the accessory's kind of meh, but I still prefer it. Plus it has 5mm hands, so you can give it whatever accessory you have lying around. But that's not saying the new one's bad. The new one's not bad at all. Granted, people will be upset with the parts forming and the price to size ratio, but I think it's still a worthy pickup. But which one would you prefer? Let me know in the comments down below because I'm curious. But that's been my look at these two Bumblebees molds. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.